than 40 merely interested. One passionate person. Because with passion and through passion, we can get meaningful work done. We can achieve and inspire greatness. But I know as educators today, that sometimes can become challenging. And it can become tough. And then by this time of the year, you can feel as though you hit the wall. You've burnt out. So Jimmy V on that evening, he gave a speech that's now famous. It's a part of his Jimmy V Foundation. And the title of that speech is Don't Give Up, Don't Ever Give Up. And I want to share a part of the presentation, not the entire speech, but just a part of it that I feel applies to reigniting and recapturing your passion. Jimmy V said that evening, how do you go from where you are now to where it is you want to be? I think you have to have enthusiasm for life. You have to have a dream, a goal, and be willing to work for it. That to me is passion. How do you get from where you are right now to where you want to be? And I used to work in human resources, and I was a main part when I worked in human resources of going through the first round of interviews to select the candidates that should go on to the second and third interview. And some of you, can you reflect back to when you interviewed for your position as a teacher? Can you remember that when you were selling yourself and you were telling the interviewee that you were telling the interviewer that you are the person for the position? You love kids. You love education. You want to inspire greatness. You can pull a rabbit out of a hat, bang cymbals with your thighs. You were that candidate. You remember that? You were motivated. You were passionate then. But for some people, over time, slowly it becomes just a job. Just a job. As long as the money is in my direct deposit, in my bank account, when they say payday, that's all you get. Because it's just a job. If you don't know what just a job mentality is, how many of you set the alarm clock for 5:30 and it goes off and what happens? You hit snooze. And most clocks are set where snooze goes off again every 5 or 7 minutes. And it goes off, you hit snooze again. It goes off, you hit snooze again. And then on that 12th time, you hit snooze again and you jump up and you're frantic. And if you have kids, you're running around the house yelling, get up, get up, get up. You won't have me late. I got to get to work. You got to get dressed. And the kids are putting on their clothes. They're grabbing their backpacks and you're getting them ready. And the kids are saying, Mom, Dad, I still haven't had breakfast. Pour it in the cup and get on the bus. Because you can't be late. So you get yourself ready. You know, you put on your, if you're a woman, you're in the car and you're still trying, you're putting on your makeup, and on that day, when you're running late, all the lights tend to be what? Red. And if you're a guy, you're a male teacher, you grab something out of the hamper, it's going to be a grunge day. I just don't want the kids to get close to me. Because it's just a job. It was tough as nails. She said, education, 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 education. She said, baby, once you put it here, they can't take it from you. And I brought him to that hook, line, and sinker. But like I said, I wasn't perfect. So I would go to school and I would cut up. But I had a third grade teacher, Mrs. Bobby Loman. No matter whose class I was in, they would always send me back to Mrs. Loman. And Mrs. Loman would sit me down. And by the time she was 2 minutes into it, I had tears falling down each side of my face. And she's like, why are you doing this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I was a challenge, but I was an A student. She's like, you compete in the spelling bee. You compete in the oratory contest. I mean, I remember you from first grade when the teacher brought the students on stage for a Thanksgiving Day program, and the one kid forgot her lines, you read her lines and the next two persons' lines, and you didn't even have their cards. She said, young man, you had potential, but you keep getting in your own way. And that's what a teacher can do. That's what a teacher can do. But yes, she had moments of burnout. She had moments when she felt that she was stretched beyond being stretched. But I was in high school, 10th grade. Coming from lunch, they called me down to the office. They said, Ty, it's a cab outside the school taking you back to your elementary school. I said, does my mother know this? They're like, it's already been cleared. They want you to go get your books. They want you to go back to your elementary school. Now, I didn't know why, but I got in the cab. They drove me halfway across Baltimore back to my elementary school. Now, I didn't know on this day Mrs. Lohman was retiring. And she had requested for me to come back to say something on her behalf. Now, at that time, no, I wasn't a speaker. I didn't have a clue what I was going to say. But I was sitting on stage, and then came my time. And that same little third grader that used to sit and bawl in front of her in her class when she talked to me is exactly what I did on stage. Because she meant so much to me. She stayed, near and dear with me throughout all of my experiences, all of my trials that I had when it came to education. I could even call her up when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, just to let her know, how I was doing or if I was struggling with class. And she would tell me, she's like, young man, I keep telling you, you have potential. And that's what an educator, that's what a teacher does. I want you all to show me your energy and your enthusiasm for being here today. And I want you to express it and show it in any way. I'm going to count to 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, give it to me! Okay. You're coming over here. Remember I said your best and get better. On the count of 3, I want you to show me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, give it! Until they know how much you care. I go places all the time and I hear people, say, hey, this is how smart I am. This is how many degrees I have. This is where I went to school and all. But when you're dealing with children the age that you're dealing with, they just want care. They want love. They want inspiration. They want to be told that their dreams and goals are real, regardless what circumstances they're living in. I put this on there. I said a person with true passion for what they do, if able, will always fly with both wings, never one. If you're truly passionate about what you do and you're able to fly with both wings, why not do it? Why not stretch and commit yourself to that every day? Because if you allow yourself to stay unmotivated and unpassionate, then that's you choosing to fly with just one wing. And all of you are better than that. I've heard great things about you. I know great things about you. So fly with both wings. That's what you want your students to do. All right, come on. All right, here we go. Come on now. All right. All right, 2 times. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. A person with passion works with a driven purpose. They always work with a driven purpose. And your name? Christy. Give me your best banner, Christy. All right. A person with passion also, they accelerate through a positive attitude. They accelerate through a positive attitude. Your name? Adriana. All right, give me your best banner. Vanna Brown? Okay.